Respected faculties, Dr. Philip Rautrai. So I'm thankful to the organizers to invite me to give this lecture. So I'll be talking on cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes complications. So, as you know, the cardiovascular disease, I'll start with the size of the problem, the pathophysiology, and type 2 diabetes as a major risk factor. And additional risk factors are very common in patients with type 2 diabetes. To start with, I'll discuss regarding the size of the problem. As you know, the cardiovascular disease is the number one cause of death globally. This is also statistics from the WHO. And from this slide, you can see the total global death in 2018 was around 56 millions, and 7.4 million due to coronary heart disease and 6.7 million due to stroke. So this is very important that cardiovascular disease as a most important non-communicable disease as a cause of death. The diabetic patients and cardiovascular risk, there is accelerated atherosclerosis in main underlying factor contributing to high risk of atherothrombotic events in patients with diabetes mellitus. I think if somebody must have seen the coronary angiogram of a patient with long-standing diabetes, they can know how bad is the coronary arteries and how the disease is diffuse in nature, and almost all vessels are being involved and diffusely. And you will be surprised that in maybe 20% cases, these patients are not suitable for any intervention or even surgery. So this is very important, and the pathophysiologic process is accelerated atherosclerosis, which is very important in diabetic patients. The several factors contribute to the prothrombotic condition that characterize patients with diabetes, like increased coagulation, platelet hyperreactivity, impaired fibrinolysis, and endothelial dysfunction. The vulnerable patient with diabetes, the vessels are vulnerable, the blood components are also vulnerable, and the myocardium is also vulnerable. So this what is called vulnerable patient, and the patient with high risk of development of cardiovascular complications. So I won't go into detail of this vulnerable vessel, what is this meaning, but vulnerable vessel means it is hyperlipidemia and adipose tissue derived in inflammation and associated cardiovascular risk factors. I think last year, I think 2020, I think one new classification for non-infectious disease came. What they called is cardiometabolic based chronic diseases, where they have got two subgroups, that is called adiposity related chronic diseases and also dysglycemia related chronic diseases. So the nomenclature of, I think, syndrome makes what you call the metabolic syndrome has been revised. So if the patient is having a vulnerable vessel and vulnerable myocardium and vulnerable blood, he is at risk of developing a cardiovascular event. The prothrombotic state in diabetes, the mechanisms contributing to platelet dysfunction in patients with diabetes, hyperglycemia, inducing P-selecting expression, activating protein kinase C and glycation of platelet surface proteins, and decrease in membrane fluidity. Insulin resistance, which is very important. I'll remind you that after diagnosis a patient of coronary disease or a stroke, after giving all medicines for hypertension, diabetes, and lipids, we only control only 30% of the recurrence of the disease. So that is almost 70% what is called residual risk factor. So that I think is addressed most recently is addressed by insulin resistance or insulin deficiency. Then cellular abnormalities like increased platelet turnover, upregulation of P2Y12 signaling, increased P-selectin and GP, and 2B3 expression and oxidative stress. And metabolic conditions like obesity, dyslipidemia, and systemic inflammation all leads to platelet dysfunction. So diabetes has been associated with higher baseline platelet reactivity described as diabetic thrombocytopathy. The diabetic thrombocytopathy leads to intensified adhesions, activation, and aggregation platelets, contribute to their higher risk of atherothrombotic events, higher prevalence of impaired response to standard dual antiplatelet therapy, aspirin plus clopidogrel. Type 2 diabetes is increasingly prevalent, and the cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in this population. Globally, 387 million people are living with diabetes, and type 2 diabetes approximately doubles the risk. And from this diagram, we can see the relative risk of mortality, all-cause mortality is higher, so also the relative risk of cardiovascular mortality. And diabetes caused 4.9 million deaths in 2014, and cardiovascular disease is the principal cause of death with diabetes mellitus. Then is key manifestations of cardiovascular disease, as it has been pointed out by Professor Das. Cerebrovascular disease presents as stroke, coronary heart disease presents as a mitral infarction or ACS or chronic stable angina, and heart failure and arrhythmias, and peripheral artery disease presenting with claudication to gangrene. Type 2 diabetes mellitus is a major and independent risk factor for both microvascular and macrovascular complications. Macrovascular complications like CVA or mitral infarction or ACS, and microvascular complications like CKD and retinopathy and neuropathy. The endothelial dysfunction is common to microvascular and macrovascular complications or events. Remodeling leads to hypertrophy and mitral infarction and heart failure. Remodeling leads to plaque. The constituents of plaque, they change, leading to a vulnerable plaque, which leads to peripheral vascular disease or TIA or stroke or aortic aneurysm. Microalbuminuria or mild insufficiency in renal function leads to overproteinuria and end-stage renal failure. So this endothelial dysfunction drives the atherosclerotic progression, as it has been shown in this diagram. I think this is a very well-known diagram. Almost everywhere with atherosclerosis you find this diagram. This was, I think, from a Starry classification. So atherosclerosis is accelerated in type 2 diabetes by hyperglycemia, insulin resistance, inflammation, and diabetic dyslipidemia. Visceral adiposity is related to inflammation, insulin resistance, and dyslipidemia and atherosclerosis. Interactions are complex and interrelated and not necessarily causal. Obesity leads to a decrease in adiponectin and increase in the adipocytokines and increase in the inflammatory cytokines. And diabetes with insulin resistance leads to dyslipidemia, endothelial dysfunction, hypertension, and ACE and oxidative stress. ACE means and atherosclerosis. The burden and pathophysiology of cardiovascular disease and diabetes mellitus. Cardiovascular disease is a significant cause of morbidity and mortality globally, and is the leading cause of death in people with diabetes globally, including India also. And it is a major independent risk factor for cardiovascular disease. Endothelial dysfunction affects microvascular and macrovascular risk and drives atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is accelerated in patients with diabetes mellitus. Visceral adiposity is associated with increased insulin resistance, inflammation, and atherogenic dyslipidemia. Then is diabetes mellitus as a major risk factor. So diabetes doubles the risk of cardiovascular events. Suppose the patient with diabetes develops a ACS, the mortality is 2 to 3 times higher than the patients with non-diabetics. And even if they get the best of the treatment, either with PCI or CABG, the chances of recurrence is very high. In PCI, you get the chances of getting ISR, that is instant restenosis, is double, that is around 20-25% patients receiving in the best quality stents. So this is very important from cardiovascular point of view. The coronary deaths, non-fatal myocardial infarctions, ischemic stroke and hemorrhagic strokes and unclassified strokes all are high in patients with diabetes. Okay, diabetes is associated with significant loss of life. Here's, as you can see from this diagram, on an average, a 50-year-old with diabetes but no history of vascular disease is 6 years younger at the time of death than the counterpart without diabetes. So in Asians, what you call this disease, coronary artery disease or cardiovascular disease, it occurs 10 years earlier than the Western countries. And that is with presence of diabetes. It is much more, I think, earlier. This is without diabetes, it is 10 years earlier, and with diabetes, it may be 15 years earlier incidence of coronary artery disease. The life expectancy is reduced by multiple comorbidities of diabetes, stroke, and myocardial infarction. Okay. Diabetes confers significant cardiovascular risk. Combination of diabetes and history of myocardial infarction further increases the risk. From this diagram, we can see from in the left side is men and women. The patients with diabetes with prior MI, the cardiovascular mortality event rate is highest in comparison to patients with no diabetes or no prior MI. Diabetic-related CV motor complications have declined with improved care, but substantial burden remains. So the red one is myocardial infarction incidence has reduced, stroke incidence has also reduced, but the incidence of ESRD remains more or less similar, or there is a slight decrease. The renal disease is associated with increased all-cause mortality. Patients with CV, previous myocardial infarction, diabetes with CKD, the all-cause mortality is the highest. And in comparison to CKD with GFR less than 60, diabetes, and no CKD or no diabetes. So diabetes doubles the risk of vascular events and reduces life expectancy. Risk is further increased in patients with diabetes mellitus and cardiovascular disease. Incidence of diabetes-related CV complications have declined with improved standard of care. However, rates remain higher than in adults with no diabetes, and rising incidence of diabetes will increase overall burden. Combination of type 2 diabetes and renal disease further increases cardiovascular risk. Then the additional risk factors are common in type 2 diabetes mellitus. Modifiable CV risk factors are common in patients with type 2 diabetes, hyperglycemia, hypertension, dyslipidemia, and obesity. What used to tell is metabolic syndrome or syndrome AIDS. The CV death is increased in patients with diabetes and multiple risk factors. So in this bar diagram, the age-adjusted CV death risk per 10,000 person year has been shown. You can see patients with diabetes, the age-adjusted CV death is in all age groups higher, but patients with, in comparison to patients with no diabetes, so which is very important. Then dysglycemia is an independent risk factor for adverse CV outcomes. This is the age-adjusted heart rate, hazards rate, mean fasting blood glucose concentration, mean fasting blood glucose, coronary disease, and the right side is vascular death. The patients with the diabetes mellitus have got the highest coronary heart disease and vascular death. Those are having diabetes in comparison to those having no diabetes. Hypertension Each 20 by 10 millimeter of BP increase doubles the risk of cardiovascular mortality. From this diagram, you can see if the BP is more than equal to 170 by 105, the cardiovascular mortality is 8-fold in comparison to blood pressure of 115 by 75. Dyslipidemia, the increased LDL cholesterol increase the risk of coronary disease, and the risk is, I think, linear. With rise of LDL cholesterol, there is increase in the relative risk for coronary heart disease. Dyslipidemia, increased LDL cholesterol, decreased HDL cholesterol associated with raised risk of coronary heart disease. So which has been depicted in this diagram. The abdominal obesity is associated with increased risk of both diabetes and cardiovascular disease. If you can see with the increase in the waist circumference from 84 to 105, the risk of cardiovascular disease is increased, and it is more so in patients with diabetes mellitus. So, modifiable cardiovascular risk factors are common in patients with type 2 diabetes. CV mortality is higher in patients with type 2 diabetes and multiple risk factors. Hyperglycemia is associated with a nonlinear increase in the risk of cardiovascular events and mortality. Hypertension leads to a nonlinear increase in mortality. Increased LDL leads to a nonlinear increase in the risk of coronary heart disease. Visceral obesity is associated with increased risk of both diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. In summary, type 2 diabetes is a major independent risk factor for cardiovascular diseases. Endothelial dysfunction and progression of atherosclerosis is accelerated in patients with type 2 diabetes mellitus. Patients with type 2 diabetes are at significantly increased risk of cardiovascular risk. Additional risk factors associated with type 2 diabetes like hypertension, dyslipidemia, and visceral adiposity, hyperglycemia, and renal dysfunction are all associated with further increased cardiovascular risk. Thank you very much for patient hearing.